Hey everybody, this is the Migas podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Aaliyah Razan Ernie. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of Migas podcast. Anyway, roll the intro. Hello everybody.
Hello.
So if you're just listening to audio, this is Mir talking right now. And if you're watching the video, this is Mir talking right now. I have bangs. I have these earrings. This is Mir. So, who else is here? You may ask.
If you are watching the video, if you can read sideways and in handwriting, it's Czarina talking. If you're just listening, my voice is probably the loudest one, so it's Czarina talking. Moving on to the next one.
Oh, it's Bianca talking right now. I talk the least amount apparently, and apparently I'm the quietest. But yeah, so this is the video. Hi, audio. Hello, it's Bianca. It's me. It's Princess. Amazing.
Oh my god. Okay, well, this is Migas. We are Migas, and this is the Migas podcast. And in this episode, we have a lot to talk about. What are we talking about?
I mean, I guess we're talking about this year. And
2020.
how has 2020 been for all you ladies?
I feel
Where
like
do
for
I start?
everybody, it's been like, I'm talking, but it's okay.
Oh my god, hostile.
See, she does interrupt a lot. Anyways, so 2020 has been crazy for everybody. I feel like it's been not just for us, but I feel like for everybody. There's been a lot of celebrity deaths. There's been, let's say the big elephant in the room, I guess. COVID was a really big thing about this year.
Sorry, I was looking for
Biden?
the elephant.
Biden won the election.
But yeah, the biggest part about 2020 was COVID and all of that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about 2020 and mostly COVID and what it did to us because it hit. It hit. Okay.
It hit different. So, since we are on the topic of COVID already, and that's the biggest thing, where were you guys? Or, yeah, where were you guys when you got the news? Because I think I remember it was like, for me, maybe it was collectively for everyone March 13th, right?
God, I
Or was
don't
it
know.
March
Yeah, it was around that
14th?
week.
March
was that
13th.
week, I think.
Was it? Hold on. I'm going to look at this calendar for a second.
Just going to fact
I'm
check.
No, because I remember I also got in, like, let me see. Me just realizing that we all got the news of COVID on March 13th, on the Friday, the 13th.
Was it really?
We found out on Friday the 13th on 2020, and I remember because it was the end of the school week, I guess, for me, and I was supposed to start doing my volunteer hours to finish up for my course so I can get my final grade. And I finished a couple of my hours on Friday, and then I was coming home. And then I got the email when I got home from Winnipeg to Steinbach saying, hey, like, we actually, because of this whole COVID situation, I can't ask you to come in next week for volunteer hours, and I'm really sorry, but we want to stay safe. And then a couple hours later, we got emails from our professors and from I think the secretary of the college saying, like, we are moving to remote learning because it is blowing up. And that's where I was. I was home, I got the email, and I had no idea what to do. Where was everybody else?
I think it hit, like, really fast. Like, I knew that it was a thing. I think I remember, like, thinking of it as, like, a haha back when we had Friendsmas. I think we talked about it, too, because I filmed a video then, and when I looked back and edited the footage, we were talking about, like, haha, corona or whatever. And then I work retail, and everyone was kind of talking about it. And then just all of a sudden, I think after a weekend, it was like I came to work and everything had to change. We had to get like the whole like glass thing in front of like us and the customers, and then like a bunch of hours were cut. Like, it happened real quick. And all my siblings had to, I think, stop going to school immediately, question mark. But I don't remember where I was. It felt like it happened so long ago, but also yesterday. But it happened quick.
I think for me, like I was in the Philippines, like I went to the Philippines this year, like which is crazy to me that I actually got to travel. And like same with Czarina, she went to Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was like right before it got like really serious. And then I remember like there was no cases, and I had to fly to Korea and Japan to like get home or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember going to the airport where they would literally check our temperature. They'd have like these like heat sensor thingies, and like they'd look at you, and it was so creepy. But in the Philippines, there weren't any cases, so everyone was like, well, it's not really a big deal. It's just a flu. And like we all said that. Even I said it. And I was like, well, it's not really a big deal. Like it's just a flu. And then we came back, and I was like scared for the flight back because I was like, oh my God, I'm going through Japan like during all this and like other Asian countries. Yeah, so that was pretty scary. And then when I came back, my dad, like we had like a birthday celebration, and I remember it was supposed to be like a big party for my mom, but then it ended up being just like a small group of people. And that was like the last party before I think lockdown.
Oh my gosh.
And we had like
remember
lockdown and
I
everything.
couldn't come because like my family instantly went on lockdown because there's so many of us, and I'm like I
Yeah.
get sick when the temperature drops. I didn't come to that, and I was planning on to because like I'm close with Bianca's family, or like we all are, and I didn't go, and she got so mad at me. We literally had a fight. She was so mean. She like sassed me because I guess like
Well,
at the time we were just like, it's not in our town. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also like, yeah, this is what we're talking about. So, anyways, I remember it's just like it was a year like right after my dad died. It was like the year anniversary where like that happened. So I was kind of upset that Mir couldn't come because obviously like I want her there. She's a really good support system. And then when she couldn't show up, it was kind of like, oh, that really sucks.
Yeah, this COVID thing has had effects on friendship. Oh my gosh, wait, I just remembered. I think a week or two before lockdown, me and you were planning on buying tickets already to go to Toronto. Like, that's how quick it happened. Like, a week before, we were both sitting in a cafe. We were Googling Airbnbs and, like, prices of tickets,
So
and, like,
sad.
it was so sad because we planned on going to see Tame Impala because he had a tour and he was going to either Vancouver or Toronto, and we were like, which one should we go to? It was
And
so
I remember
sad.
that.
And then we could've
I
gone to
remember that
either.
because you guys were also asking me if I wanted to come, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nah.
We were like,
I already
Czarina,
went to
you have so much time to save up money, and like
I know, it was just because I recently just came back from Montreal too, and I had to pay for all that, which was crazy because like I will reiterate this till the end of time. I swear on my life, a bunch of us when we came back from Montreal, we got COVID. I swear, because it was insane because it was a pharmacy like school conference type thing, so they would ask a whole bunch of students from each school all over Canada to come to one place, and they would just do this big conference where you can like join different talks and like listen to like professors or like experts talk about stuff in the field, which was really interesting. But it was also like a time for all the schools to come together, get to know each other, and have a bunch of fun because we're like it's a new year, and like we do this every year. We want our students to have fun. We want them to learn. And so I was in Montreal, and when we came back, I remember we had school the next day. We came back on a Sunday night, and when I went to school the next day, I had the worst fever. It was horrible.
Oh my
like if you
God,
think
oh my
about it,
God.
if you think about where we are right now, like even stepping out of the house with a little bit of a sniffle is a big red flag. We're so cautious
Yeah.
now. But like when I got sick, I was like, I still need to go to school. Like I have a fever, and like COVID wasn't a really big thing at the time. So it was like the second week of January. So we knew about it, but it was like oh, it's still in China, like it's not here, so it's okay. I know I don't have it, or like we weren't really aware of it either. And then so I had to go to school the next day, and I was dead tired. I had such a fever. I showed up early because that was just when the bus came, and I had to go downstairs into one of the rooms waiting for class to start, and I passed straight out getting some sleep because my fever was so bad. A bunch of my friends who I went to Montreal with, when we all got to class, they were coughing or they were dead tired. They were just absolutely destroyed. One of my friends didn't show up for a whole entire week because he was sick with a fever for 3 days straight and a cough, and did not show up for a whole entire week of school.
Oh my god, I can't believe that.
And then, yeah, I swear we all got COVID. It's been a crazy year. I mean, right now we're all in our second lockdown here in our town. But how did we all cope with this first one? Our first one wasn't as bad as the second one, right? As this one right now.
No, I remember.
Our first lockdown.
Like, I think I didn't end up going to work. Like, I went on EI because I was like, well, I don't want to bring anything home to my mom. And I remember all the cases were like pretty low. We didn't have any in Manitoba like at all. Like, we shut down our borders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like the first one wasn't that bad. Like, nobody was wearing masks anywhere. But I think it didn't go on for that long. We had a whole summer where we could do stuff. Like, I hung out with you guys during the summer. I went camping. I could still like go out or get my lashes done.
What about you?
Well, oh my god. I kept working through it. I think I took a week off in the beginning, just like fear driven, because like I said, when the temperature drops like slightly, I get sick right away. And so I didn't want to take anything home because again, I work retail. I didn't want to see people and then maybe get it and then come home to like my 4 siblings and my parents who have different jobs. And so I think I took a week off, but then I would go to work and it like no masks, no nothing. But also the first lockdown, more people stayed home. Now it's like it's more serious, but like no one's staying home. I think that part of this year hashtag changed me. I'm saying hashtag to undercut the emotions, but that lockdown definitely made me more like frustrated and angry. There's just a lot of people that I didn't think were from this town that were so stubborn and just like, you know what I mean?
And
What?
we were also going through like we were also going through the Black Lives Matter thing. So I feel like that also like
I think that was what made it worse. Like to like add on to what Mira was saying, like our first lockdown, everybody stayed home because we were so scared. And I think at this point, like in our second lockdown, everyone was tired of staying home. Like we're all going insane, which is very fair because it's really impacted everyone's mental health in a negative way, in a different way, but negative altogether. And I remember this because it wasn't a big thing for me. Do you guys remember the Black Lives thing? Because I didn't have Twitter. I was locked out of my account for like a week. Remember? I was locked out of my Twitter account for like, I think I want to say 2 weeks because I did the stupid thing where I didn't put in my birthday and then they locked me out or whatever because I
did that
too young when I got my account. So I was waiting for them to give it back to me. And I remember the whole thing. I was at work when I got Twitter back. I think I just ended up making a new account, and I remember what led me to making my new one was because you guys were talking about it and everyone else was talking about it. Like I saw it on Instagram and on YouTube and stuff like that, and I was like, who is George Floyd? What happened?
Yeah.
And I got Twitter back, and everything I think just went downhill from there. And you know, coming from a predominantly white town, yeah, we're going there. It was really hard to talk about these kind of topics. And it's not that I don't want to say a lot of them were ignorant, but when you're in a predominantly white town, they're not as exposed to that type of situation.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to get people to agree or see our side of the story because, you know, as persons of color, people of color, we know to an extent what he went through. Like, I hate like knowing that there are so many people out there, especially in America, going through way worse than what we did and going through what he did all the time. And I think on top of the Black Lives Matter and like what Bianca said, losing all the celebrities, like Kobe Bryant, I think after that it just went like down, downhill. And then losing, I don't know, who else did we lose? There were so many people just gone.
Oh, Chadwick Boseman.
Oh my God,
Him.
don't.
Oh my God.
Stop it.
Chadwick, we lost.
Forever.
We lost the Glee star Naya. Was it Naya?
Oh yeah, that wasn't.
Oh
COVID
yeah,
related,
Naya Rivera.
Yeah, we lost
But,
her.
Just like a whole bunch of things. Like this year was supposed to be 2020 perfect vision. You know, like all the holidays lined up with weekends, and it was supposed to be a good year for like everybody, and it isn't. But there's also like, for some people, 2020 was the best year, and then for other people, it was the worst year. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like how everyone went through different experiences through quarantine. And like, I remember I learned how to paint during quarantine. I baked a lot. I just like took a lot of time for myself because like, I think last year I was really dependent on Mir and my friends for like emotional support. And like, that's fine and everything to like depend on your friends. But at the same time, you have to learn how to support yourself and like get through hard times without somebody there, because like I couldn't have anybody there this year, you know, like physically, so that sucked. But you know, here we are.
It was just a weird thing. I think in the beginning I was still like the same, because last year I think I went back into my happy phase where I was just like, life, you know what I mean? I let's get this bread. That was my attitude towards the end of 2019. And then 2020 in the beginning, it was kind of like, you actually cannot get this bread. Like, you literally cannot. You are not allowed to unless you want to die. And so it was kind of like, okay, then I'm going to work on because I love being by myself. I like working on myself. I like doing all that. And so it was fine. And then June came around, and then the whole Black Lives Matter thing. I mean, it's still going on. Black Lives still matter, but it's just, it made me so
Obviously
mad, and it like has lingered to this day where I'm just, I think I was also, you know, growing up, like, you don't talk about these things. Like, it's just like, just don't be racist. Like, that's the whole thing. But then like that whole month, it was kind of like, it's not just don't be racist. And I opening my eyes to that just made me an angrier person. And yeah, I don't know how I worked through it. Maybe I still am an angry person, but yeah, I'm working through a lot, but yeah, it made me angry to the point where I cried. And I don't cry. I cried in front of Czarina. And it wasn't like crying, like tearing up, like, oh my God, I'm so sad about what's going on in the world. Like, I was sobbing, like fully sobbing. And that was the first time that had happened in a very long time. And there was a lot of emotions. And I couldn't do anything about it because, like, we couldn't talk in real life. Like, I couldn't go up to her and be like, you know, let's go for a drive. Let's talk about this. It just had to be on, like, online like this through a screen. And so, yeah, as someone who doesn't talk about feelings as much, I've had to learn even more to try to talk about it. I don't know where I am with that, but yeah.
You're doing better. You're doing way better. That's all I have to say.
She said
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and now moving forward to the person who feels absolutely everything, which is me. Since we are just talking about how it's impacted our mental health, I think it is safe to say that I have struggled with it for a very, very long time. And the girls know this. I think it just had a lot to do with, I struggled a lot with my faith. I still am. Like, I have a lot, like, you know, when you're growing up in a place or in a home where it's not that you're forced to believe one thing. It's like, this is what we believe in. Like, we hope you believe in the same thing. But, you know, circumstances in life make it hard to have that kind of faith. I'm still working through it. I still believe in God and all that, but it's a lot more complex for me, and I think it really just hit the gutter when I had to go to the hospital here in 2020. That was when I think I reached my lowest point.
Oh my god, that was this year.
That was this year. This was in April.
I totally forgot.
Whoa.
Yeah, so 2020 did not... It started off great for me because I'm like, I'm going to Montreal. And, like, mind you, Harry Styles' album just came out. So I listened to his new album, like, all in Montreal. So now every single time I listen to it, all I can think about is Montreal. So it was a good time. And then March rolled around. And then it was end of March, I had to go to the emergency. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, so I had to keep going back and forth to the hospital. I had to defer a bunch of my final exams, and I think that was just like my lowest point. And the girls know that I cried a lot. Like, I cry a lot on the daily already. But I think, like, it came, like, and most of the time the girls don't even know what to do for me in that case anyway, but it was like, at this point, they, like, just genuinely did not know. And it was hard too, because we couldn't see each other really. Like, what were we supposed to do? So, I learned, like Bianca, I learned a lot to also depend on myself, because I have a boyfriend and I used to depend on him a lot. That was basically me all of 2019, was learning to, I don't know how to word it, like, learning to realize that I was depending on other people too much. And then this year it was more about making that change. So I started doing more things for myself also. Like, I also started crocheting. I made a sweater. I feel like a lot of and making earrings, and like we're all wearing them right now. I got everybody clay earrings for Christmas because I like making them. And just like what all the other girls are talking about, we used this year, even though it was really difficult to go through all the negative stuff, and like, as much as we have a love-hate relationship with quarantine, it allowed us to turn inward, even if it wasn't comfortable. Like, I know for me it probably wasn't comfortable, for Bianca also, because it's like dealing with those feelings that you don't want to deal with. But now it's like, we have the time, we have nothing else to do, might as well. And I think, you know, that's why we say 2020 was hard, because we were forced to look at all that. But I think we came out better for it, because, you know, I started getting into anime again, and that, I think, probably was just... I don't want to, like... It might sound lame, but I want to say that it really did help my mental health a lot to have something from my childhood to revert back to just be like, I can be a kid again. Like, who's going to stop me?
It was also, we learned this year, right? Like, frick what anyone has to say. Because, like, I feel like you stopped watching that because it's like, they don't think that's cool. Like, I gotta be cool.
I mean, now TikTok is making it cool, but
it's true.
Whatever. But yeah, no, I think we all, after the whole Black Lives Matter thing, it was very disheartening to go through that, but also I think it was very empowering for us as persons of color, because at first it was really hard because we had to fight against the, you know, the ignorance that does exist, but then it came to the point where we just understood what kind of reality we lived in, and it's not giving up. But at first, I think we all really, really tried to just be like, educate. And like that, you know, as a person of color, obviously we feel responsible having to talk about it because we're persons of color. Who else are they going to listen to? But I think it eventually died down to the point where we were like, it is not our job to educate you. It is not my job to make myself feel this exhausted trying to convince you to change your perspective. That is something you have to do on your own. And I think as women and as people of color, like, going through that, it was really hard because we actually had a lot of arguments with a lot of our friends, which was a very hard thing to do. And like I said, it really empowered us to just be like Mir said, screw what anybody else thinks. But also at the same time, like, I am going to surround myself with people that I know are my safe place, and I can rely on them, and they're not going to be people who are going to turn against me. So because of that, we've had to cut out about a bunch of people.
It became like, for me, big no tolerance zone. Like it was in a way it was good. Like I found out which people think, and it's fine to think different, but like people that were so close-minded that like they would DM you and just be angry, or like would just say things to make you angry, to make you look like the bad person. And so cut that out, you know what I mean? Like it was a good thing. It was a good cleanse this year to get rid of certain people and to get rid of certain like mindsets. Like it's like no more tolerant. Like I don't tolerate that anymore, you know what I mean? Even with customers that used to, you know, be like, oh, where are you from? And then you would say, oh, I'm from here, like I grew up here. And they're like, where are you really from? And like they would say it in like a tone, you know, or like they would be like, you speak really good English for someone who, you know, it's like a no.
Oh my god.
I grew up here, and like now because someone, I think after that, like when it kind of fizzled, someone a customer was like looking for her husband or something, and then I was like, oh, can I help you with anything? And then she rambled about something, and I was like, sorry. And she was like, oh, you don't speak English. And I was like, excuse me? And it was like back then it was like, customer's always right, you can't do that. But I was fully like, what did you say? And she was like, oh god, I can't say that anymore. And so it was like a big like, I deserve better type of thing. So which still is still a little
like
anger.
I wouldn't let it slide anymore. Like it's just different. Like I have to stick up for my morals. And like it's hard because like if you're in a workplace, obviously you want to keep your job, but at the same time, like you're not going to be like, well, I don't want to be treated like this. Like I shouldn't be treated like this. And I feel like I've cut out a lot of people, or I've unfollowed a lot of people that I don't agree with their opinions, because obviously everyone has their own opinion, and that's okay. But like I just don't agree with those people, and I don't want to see their opinions on my feed, so I won't. And it sucks when like you're close with somebody and they share that opinion, and you're just like, what do I do? Do I like educate them about this? Like what are they gonna say? What are their opinions on this? And then you have to just separate that line. I feel like that's like the hardest part of like COVID and like Black Lives Matter and like racism in general, which is difficult.
Yeah, this year has just been a lot of I've seen these memes where it's like an angel accidentally put like 10 decades worth of trauma in one year. I think that perfectly explains 2020. Like we've just all gone through a lot, and I'm sure those who are listening have also had their own struggles. And us talking about it right now, it's been half an hour already, so we're almost halfway through our time, and we've barely just scratched the surface on the topic of like all the problems that are like wrong with the world. And I feel like, I don't know, just like all the time that we have to ourselves, and the only thing that we can see is social media all around the world, and just seeing everything through a screen, only one perspective, one way. It's just been very like, 2020 has just been a hard year. I am glad that it's almost over, but since we have had a hard year, I want to say that we are doing way better than the first lockdown. Even though our second lockdown is way worse in a way, like how our community is handling it. Like we have way more cases now. More people have died in the past 3-4 months than have in the entire than like at the beginning of the lockdown. And like I said, a lot of people haven't been listening to lockdown restrictions, and it's also really hard because it's Christmas time. This is the time to gather with people, and you can't gather with your family and friends, and that just makes it harder. But what have you guys been doing to try to cope with the horribleness of lockdown and quarantine? Because I know Bianca mentioned like baking and stuff like that. Has there been anything else that you guys have tried to do?
For like the second lockdown, I'm in school. Like me and Czarina are both in school right now. So I feel like because I have a lot of time at home, Like if I'm not at work, I'm at home and I'm studying. So I raised my grades somehow. You know, I'm pretty happy about that. I raised my GPA, amazing. Um, it just also sucked for this year, like the second lockdown, because I couldn't see my sister at all, and that was really hard. Like I went through my birthday, I couldn't do anything on my birthday, so that like made me really upset. And for Christmas, I had to see her at a park, you know, socially distanced, because like I respect the rules, and that was really hard too.
Flex.
But I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to like next year and just moving forward because I feel like that's the only thing you really can do. Like you can't dwell on the past. It's been there. COVID's a thing. You have to just keep moving forward. Otherwise, you're just gonna, you know, cry every single day.
Yep. What about you, Mir?
I don't know, to be honest. Well, I planned on going back to school, but I don't know how this is gonna go. Like, I would like to go in person, but like, I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon. But like all the time indoors, because I'm an indoor person more than an outdoor person, I think. I'm both, but I'm fine being indoors all the time. I definitely got to hang out with my siblings more and bond with them and like my family. What the frick else have I gotten into? I still work, which is nice because I still have income and I can still save up for, you know, when all this is over and stuff. You said something earlier and I was going to talk about it, but then like I don't know where I am anymore.
I mean, you bought more in this entire year than you have in the past 2 years prior, I want to say.
Freaking spending problem looking. But other than that, I think
we all went through that.
we all went, but like mine were big bad purchases. We're not going to talk about that, but in case, you know, my family's watching this. But I've gotten to know myself a bit more, and like I said that last year. But I think that was just me getting to know like what makes me happy and like that side of me. It wasn't like the deep stuff about me. Stuff like I don't want to tell the world of, but like I've gotten to know myself more and like the bad stuff, you know, the angrier, the angsty side of me that I've learned to accept and like all of that. And when Kid Cudi came out with his album, oh my god, it was like a switch. It was a switch. I guess because I you know, I associate his music with me being more myself, and so like
Happiness.
about 2 weeks ago, it was like this year was just like it doesn't define you. You can keep going type of thing. And so I've learned to talk to myself more in like a get it together type of thing. So I guess. How about you, Czarina?
I think I've been, like I said, I mentioned it already. I've watched a lot of anime. That really, really helped. Like, just having something that I know made me happy. Like what Mir said, figuring out what makes you happy. And like I said, I struggled a lot with faith. And I still do, but on top of everything else, I do feel like I know myself more. And I think for the second lockdown, I think I'm like what the girls were saying is like we switched this time around towards the end of the year.
Oh my god.
Mira and Bianca were a little more angry and angsty, and I was a little more. I don't want to say I was more the optimist, but I was definitely more calm. Like I wasn't as negative as them.
I was shocked.
It was a very big switch just because they know that I have been going like it's I don't want to say I've been going through more than because we've all gone through something, but I think I don't want to say I was a little weaker, but like I said, I just have a big problem with mental health. But I'm getting there, and I definitely, this is probably like the best like shape that my brain has been, which is funny because it's 2020. But yeah, I've watched more anime. I just tuned into my artsy side because when I first was deciding what I wanted to do outside of high school after I graduated, it was between doing arts and science. And I feel like that was the decision for everybody. Like going into something in the arts or going something in science. But the way capitalism works, you can't get a good career in arts unless you're gonna go viral and become a celebrity. So I learned to not do that stuff the past couple of years, and I feel like that had a really negative impact on who I was as a person. I think that's why I was a very angry person. So being able to create stuff, not just like YouTube videos like I do on the side, but like making things like these earrings and making my cardigans, and like I'm making one for Bianca right now actually, so that's gonna be great.
Excited.
And like making more poems like I used to, and reading more books. Me and Bianca have done a lot more of that. We did a lot of that over the summer.
Oof.
Going outside and tanning and reading a book, that was amazing.
Working out too. I forgot working out.
Working,
my bad.
yeah, working out. I remember everyone went to the quarantine phase and then I stopped. But Bianca's better at that right now than me and Mira are. She's been working out a lot more, so that's good. What else have I done? Journaling. I've definitely learned to journal a lot more, and I used to not... It's not that I didn't really like it, I knew it was a good thing to do, but I didn't see a good impact on myself to do it. But then realizing that I am a person who likes to talk things through, like problems, studying, everything. Like, if I have a problem... I remember Mira yelled at me for it once, actually. I think it was this year,
God.
where she's like, if you have a problem, why the hell are you telling everybody about it?
Oh my god,
And
that
I
is
remember
something
that.
I would say.
It is something you said. She's just like, why do you have to talk about it? Like, just keep it to yourself, which is how Mir copes. But I've realized that is not how I cope. And I think that's what made me upset at the time, is because I have to be like that. I have to keep everything in. Like, it's not that she was telling me I was wrong, but it's like, for me, it felt wrong to not to talk about my problems. But I realized that's just how I work through things. I need to have different perspectives. I need to look at things a million different ways. Otherwise, I'm going to explode. So I've learned that journaling really helps me put my perspectives on paper, and like talking to people still helps, but being able to put it somewhere and not rotting in my brain was really helpful. So if, for anyone who is like me and has a very big overthinker and likes writing, try journaling. Journaling really helps. Since we're on the topic of that and mental health, what are the different ways that you guys have gone through? Like,
I don't
health?
recommend doing what I do. I'm not as bad anymore, right? Validation.
No.
I'm not.
Yeah.
as
Like,
bad.
yeah. How have you coped? Like, over the years, like not even just this year. How have we all coped with mental health? Like over this, I want to say, like, let's say senior year, and then moving forward.
Oh god.
Senior year. I feel like senior year moving forward was a really big, like,
That's
growing
the shift.
up kind of thing.
Yeah. Because I feel like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
a lot of our audience too. Like, what I'm graduating, like, how are things going to turn out? So, mental health is a very big topic to really tackle, because first year university, or even just first year out of high school, is a very big shift after going to school for 12 years. So,
We can
how
talk
do we all
about
cope?
high school and like our experiences in a different podcast, but
Mhm.
it was a big shift.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Definitely a big shift. I went from having like a giant group of friends who I could like talk to
Mhm.
about certain problems, I guess, to like something traumatic happened to me. Okay. There was a breakup. Okay. There was a breakup.
I feel like we've all,
Stay tuned.
it's okay.
Therefore, I just don't want to out him out, you know what I mean? Therefore,
No.
the one person that I could like talk to about feelings and stuff, I couldn't do it anymore, and so I was
Mhm.
like untethered. And then over top of that, like I was going to school and I wasn't with my family anymore, and so I learned, which is again, I'm saying don't do what I have learned, I'm trying to unlearn it, but don't internalize everything. Like, I'm trying, you know. I like to deal with things myself because, you know,
Complete opposite
I don't
of
want
me.
to, yeah, I don't want to need anybody's help because that person could break up with you. And like,
Oh.
Okay, well that's
Oh,
fair.
I
That is
kinda get
something.
that.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
perspective. That's just like how you cope,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
it's big
I
trauma.
feel like you've never really said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
So,
I
wow,
realize
you're really
that too.
putting it out in the open.
I realized that too this year, like why I'm the way that I am, because like I said in the last video, me and Czarina are the oldest, right? But she likes to teach and she likes to talk about her feelings and stuff, and I don't do that. I like to deal with my problems myself.
I am an open book. I don't give a crap. I am gonna put everything out there, air it out, all my dirty laundry. Mir has like
I'm gonna wash my
10,000
laundry.
locks.
I'm gonna wash my laundry myself. I have my own washer here. Y'all ain't gotta worry about that. But that's why, I guess, because people, to me at least, when I was, you know, going through it, because I got out of that last year, and so I'm trying to. I don't like to look back at, you know, that time in my life, but I'm looking back now and how I grew and like trying to analyze myself and again get to know myself and talk to myself more. It's like I I don't talk to people because of that, right? So don't do that. Don't have that mindset that people are temporary, okay? Because it's true, people are temporary, but people are also important in growing. I don't think I would have gotten out of that without you two and Aaliyah and, you know, everyone around me. I'm gonna throw up. Literally, shut up right now. Like, this is not about you. It's about me.
Oh.
But
Okay.
especially in this, you know, these times, it's easy to internalize everything. But, you know, FaceTime, Zoom people, write out your thoughts and not just keep it in your head.
I think it's important to
end
note
up crazy like me.
Yeah, I feel like it's just important to note though, like on top of not don't actually internalize everything. Just know that it's okay if you do it temporarily also. Like, you can't control how you feel, like, in those moments. Or it's not... That's also something I've learned is if you're feeling something, just feel it. Like, let it happen. As Tame Impala said, just
I love Tame Impala, but like something that I live by is you are not responsible for your first thought, but you're responsible for your second thought, which is what comes out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're mad about something off the bat and you internalize it and you think about why you're mad about it, that's why sometimes when Czarina and I fight, because me and her fight all the time, it's annual, I have to think about why I'm mad, and I have to think about her side of the story, and then I say something if there needs to be something. Hello? If I need to say something, then I say something. Because if I say the first thought that comes to my head, I know I'm going to hurt her feelings, and it's going to be a bigger problem. So my first thought, it's like me. It's what I think of. And then the second thought, the one that comes out of my mouth, that's what you're responsible of. That's what you put into the universe.
Like, for me also, it's like, just let it happen. Like, if I'm stressed about something, I will let myself get stressed. I will talk to everybody and get the different perspectives that I need to stress myself out and look at everything in a different way. Because if I just have if I stick to my own narrow perspective, I won't see everybody else's and see the bigger picture. So for me, she needs to take a step back. I need to talk to people, and that's where we clash. Is like, you need to tell me right now what your perspective is, so I know part of the bigger picture, so that I can process my thing. But she does the opposites, and that's why we clash. But at least we learn that.
I'm always like, I need to think about what I feel like, dog.
Yeah, and she's like, I need to like stop, wait, and think about it myself. And I'm like, no, I need to know now, so then I can think about it.
No, mine is like stop, drop, and roll. Czarina's is like, let's roll.
Let's freaking roll, and then we can stop and think. So we're like, our two steps are different, which is fine. That's just how we cope. And I feel like yeah, go ahead.
I feel like I'm in the middle. Like, I definitely, like, I have adopted Mir's think about it, think about your feelings and then kind of explain what's going on. But at the same time, like in the moment, I want to talk about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like my hardest thing is probably just I don't know what I'm feeling. And I can never put it
Yes.
into words, or it never makes sense. It doesn't make sense in my head, therefore it shouldn't I can't really express what I'm like trying to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are things that I do that my friends don't like and I can't explain it, but I do it.
Oh no, our faces did the same thing when she said that. If you're watching on video.
'Cause we're all-
Ooh.
we all know what I'm thinking about, what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And yeah. I have
That's
to
just-
pee. Give me a second, please.
Go.
Oh my
Go
God.
and pee. Me and Mir will talk our ears off.
What?
Wow, we just kind of strayed a bit there from our topic.
Yeah,
'cause
we're
talking about our mental
46
health.
minutes in.
No, but I think it's a good thing to talk about is just our mental health and how we've coped, which
Yeah.
is there's now two different ways that you can cope. You can do the way that Mira does, internalize and then think about it for yourself, or you can be
Act
like
on
me
that
and
hoe.
talk to others. And like I think or be like Bianca and not know what to do at all.
Whoa.
Oh, she's echoing.
Yeah, what the?
But it is just very important to know, like, you do not need to be one person. Like, you do not need to do it one way. And I feel like that was something we all learned this year, is that there is no right way. 2020 has taught us there is literally no right way to do absolutely anything. Literally, like, we're all doing the best that we possibly can. We're all having an existential crisis because we have no idea what to do with in our world. Like we're just existing. We didn't ask to be here, but we're here.
Oh my god.
And now we have to. Well, you know what I mean. We didn't ask to be here, but we were born into this place, so you might as well make the best of your life. So just do it the way you want to. Let your feelings happen. Let your mental breakdowns happen, because it's okay to be going through it. But the really important thing that we've learned from this year is basically what Bianca has been doing, is adopting other people's perspectives, or adopting other people's coping mechanisms, and knowing that you don't have to do it all one way. Otherwise, you're just going to be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to rely
Oh my god, she's
on
back.
other people. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so make sure you know how to rely on other people. Make sure you know how to rely on yourself. And it's always, maybe it's just a Libra in me, it's just who I am. You just have to find some sort of balance. Don't try to like strive for a perfect balance, because there's never going to be a perfect balance. But if you're at peace with yourself, and like if you're just at peace with yourself, things will turn out.
Period.
And to be at peace with yourself, you have to learn how to take care of yourself. And to take care of others, you need to take care of yourself. So just biggest thing is just take care of yourself.
And find things that you like doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like find hobbies. Like it's hard, like I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do with this quarantine? Like I'm not even working. Like for like the first one, but then I found painting, I found baking. And then now like during my second lockdown, I'm working, I'm doing school, I'm keeping myself busy, like I'm working out. It's like a whole bunch of bettering yourself. Makes you feel so good. And then like you do it and you're just like, oh my god, why am I doing this? But then like later on you see like the results of you feeling better in general, and like you're wanting to do these things, and like you want to like make yourself good and happy.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all I got.
But also, what I learned is to not put too much pressure on yourself and want to do everything, and like, you know, it's fine to just exist. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You can just exist and take it day by day. That's what I'm doing. And, you know, let life happen. Let it happen. That's the moral of today's episode. Stream Let It Happen by Tame Impala.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing for me I feel like the biggest thing for everyone, like, it's really hard to put into words, but the best way that I can word it is the reason we're all always so unhappy, especially in this quarantine, is comparison.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely, in every aspect of our life. It's like, why are we here? I remember that this was how I thought. Why am I quarantined? Like, I feel like I would be in such a better place if I quarantined in Paris or Italy or somewhere that's not here. And just comparing yourself in that aspect is already negative. And like, a negative impact, or like how come everyone is working out in quarantine and looking like this in the past 6 months and I still look like this?
Yeah.
Or how come people are able to how come people are disrespecting rules and being able to see their family and I can't? And all that. And it's a lot of just comparison.
I think
what?
You were just gonna say it. I
Hello.
think you said that before. You were like, comparison is the thief of joy or something.
Yeah, it always is going to be. Like, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is a thief of joy. Like, there is no point in comparing yourself. So literally when people say take care of yourself, learn to love yourself before loving anybody else, it is honestly the truth. That is the one truth that you should take away from this. If you're graduating high school and you're coming out of this, like, learn to love yourself and take care of yourself, because that is going to be the biggest impact on your mental health also, is because you're going to be like tackling all these new responsibilities and new experiences, and it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be a lot regardless. So regardless of where you are in life, don't compare. You're exactly where you need to be, and if you're not, then you're going to work towards being better. And yeah, just learn to take care of yourself, learn to love yourself, because, you know, Mir says people are temporary. Sometimes it'll come to a point where the only person you'll have is yourself, and you need to learn to rely on yourself. That is true. Because some things, like for me also, is what I realize is not like talking to people isn't always gonna help. Like, yeah, you might get all the different perspectives, but sometimes the only perspective that matters is your own. So, did we have anything else to talk about today? I think we tackled a lot.
I think that was it.
I'd like to say just one thing, just 1 second, everybody. If you need a fitness motivation, Michael B. Jordan.
Stop!
Out there. That is a good fitness motivation. And if you can look like him.
What?
Or? Is there an or?
Your other
if you
fitness
look like
motivation.
Him, or if you look like him, please hit up Bianca. That's exactly what she was trying to say. That was her whole point.
My other fitness motivation I can't say on here.
Oh my god, no, not him. I meant Ethan Dolan. No! Anyways, guys, speaking of boys and relationships, that's what we're going to talk about in the next podcast.
That is what we're going to talk about in the next podcast. Thank you, Bianca, for the premature introduction.
Bianca.
But again, just the takeaway from everything this podcast: take care of yourself. Put yourself first. This is the time to. The year is almost over. Hopefully, COVID will be gone. Well, more gone this coming year than it is right now. Yeah, take care of yourself. Love yourself. Do things that you like.
Look at pictures of Michael B. Jordan.
No, what the?
Capitalism sucks. Like, do not become one of the drones to society. You are your own person. Do the things that you want to do. Life is short. There's only so much we can do. And like I said, there's no right way to do anything. There's just doing. You might be doing the right thing. If you're doing the wrong thing, you live and you learn from it. Or you can be like Bianca and not learn from it.
We'll talk about that in the next one.
We'll talk about the next episode. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add.
No.
Michael B. Jordan. Thank you for listening, everybody. Goodbye.
This has been the Migas Podcast. Bye.